Shalom. All praises goes to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harachakwadash. That's to say the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit, the Rachakwadash. So, it's going to be a lesson. I'm not sure what I'm going to have the title be named. I might call it the Soy Boy Agenda, right? Because it's basically going in on a slew of topics in which, you have, and you had recent developments like, one thing that I'm thinking of is the fact that Bill Gates owns a majority of farmland in the United States, and how, he's linked to these companies. He's invested in companies that want to mass produce fake meat. So he's part of this agenda from elites that seek to lessen meat production and replace that with plant-based meat. And for some of these things, for some of these plant-based meat companies, a lot of their ingredients contain soy, and Lord knows what else they're putting in it, right? And just a part of this is it all ties into population control and really the effeminizing men, because that, and especially the Israelite man, because that's the greatest threat to the current rulership. Esau, this devil, thinks that he can somehow hold on to his kingdom, which he lives in, if he just, completely sodomizes and effeminizes all our men. But the thing about it is, we're getting victory through the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. It's not through us being taking up arms and all these different things. This devil wants, his aims are to weaken us so that we won't be able to resist resist his control, because when you're weak, when you're effeminate, you go along with anything that's presented to you. You see what I'm saying? Because you're weak-minded. You don't have a strong will. You don't have the will to be able to stand for Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai's law, statutes, and commandments. Because this truth, it takes manly men to be a part of this truth, man. Of varying natures, because you do have brothers that are forward and even gentle, but I would argue that even both brothers of both kind are manly in essence, because you know what? The base of our entire being is worshiping Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and that comes with faith and endurance, mental strength, and all of those are manly qualities. Okay, so I'm gonna go in on this article, because here you have the term soy boy. It says soy boy is a pejorative term often used in online communities to describe men lacking masculine characteristics. The term bears many similarities and have been compared to the slang terms cuck and low T, two other terms popularly used to insult as an insult for male femininity by online communities. So, hey, that very end, this is of a truth, because men aren't supposed to be feminine. Women are supposed to be feminine. Femininity is a word that goes back to women. So why? That's confusion, and that's just, because amongst them online communities, you got a lot of conservative and right-wingers, Edomites that are somewhat still manly, and they notice that. And men in general are waking up to a lot, tapping into that old man's, that male nature spirit, because you got something in the internet called the red pill and MGTOW, where men actually are tapping into their nature, their spirit, which is to basically be the opposite of a woman, to not be feminine, not be weak. So men actually calling out that behavior in effeminate men is actually of a truth, because an effeminate dude, what are you supposed to do with that dude? You know what I'm saying? Because you got this article, it says men in name only. This shows you that this term, people saying this is of a truth, man. It's not something that is just an insult. It's actually based in fact. It says men in name only. New study shows testosterone levels in American males are dropping dramatically. Why would that be? And I can tell you, number one reason is the oppression. You know, and that happens through media. Right, where they basically push for men to be weak. You can't offend, you can't speak your mind. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you gotta bow down to a woman. You gotta give a woman her desires and pleasures. You got these women running rampant. You know, because the women are masculine. The women are very loud and boisterous in America. They're opinionated. They're not scared to speak their mind. You know what I'm saying? So that leaves an effect on men to where they just completely effeminate. It says pollution, sedentary lifestyle, soy, and even social feminization have been blamed for a deepening testosterone crisis. You see? So you got the pollution, which is there's polluted air, food, water, even the vessels that contain your very water, and food like the plastics, which is damn near every food item you get is wrapped in plastic unless you're buying it fresh. It contains something known as BPA, and BPA is known to basically flip the testosterone production in men and turn it into estrogen, which testosterone is a hormone which produces, you know, the deep voice and makes you grow facial hair and all these different things, your muscle mass. That's what is determined from your testosterone levels, and it's the opposite in women when it comes to estrogen. It says testosterone truly is the male hormone. It is what turns boys into men. Upon puberty, the testes drastically upregulate their production of it, triggering secondary sexual characteristics. These include growth of muscle and bone, a deeper voice, and sprouting of body hair. Without testosterone, one suspects there will be a lot of noodle-armed, squeaky-voiced man babies stalking the streets, perhaps in the vein of a Michael Jackson, or even Jeff Bezos, or even a young Jeff Bezos. A new study published this month in the Journal of Sexual Medicine has found that testosterone is in crisis, at least when it comes to American millennials and Gen Zers. Men's testosterone is supposed to decline naturally with age, but this study, which was presented last October to the Sexual Medicine Society of North America, showed a shocking decline in the levels of cohorts of young American men throughout since 1999. Hey, so just look at it. Just kind of look at the culture shift in America. Going back, because you have Generation Z, and then you have millennials, then you have X and baby boomers. Baby boomers going back as far as, I believe, the people born 1950s, early 60s, and Gen Z is about X is about the 70s, right? People back then, or I should say, men back then were more masculine, and there was less pollution in the food. For example, a lot of the soda people like to drink was still in glass bottles. It wasn't wrapped in plastic. Not everything was wrapped in fucking plastic. That switched your testosterone. And not to mention all of these factories in America that produce these chemical wastes, and Lord knows what effect they're producing. It could be the very fact that these chemicals that's coming out of these factories and these different production things, that is what is decreasing testosterone. And then not to mention the laws and rights that they give to women to be able to surpass you, to be able to circumnavigate you, so to speak. You know? So in this society in America, men are not valued. Men are not in their proper role. So that's what's producing this. I speculate that. And then, of course, it's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has turned these men into complete soy boys, as you would. So here you got it. right? The negative effects of soy. It says, I'm going to go down. Hold on. Hold on. This is actually going in on a dude's specific experience. But basically, this dude is describing what happened to him because he grew breasts. But if you go down, it says, I said, let's go over your diet meal by meal. And you said to me, every single thing you eat and drink. He said, sure, Dr. Louis. I get up and usually have some cereal. I said, do you put anything in it? He said, soy milk. Price explained that he developed lactose intolerance in recent years and has switched to soy milk exclusively. In fact, it had in fact become one of his favorite drinks, a great thirst quencher in the Texas heat. Dr. Louis suddenly felt his excitement building. He asked Price how much soy milk on average he drank each day. He told me about 3 quarts, which that's a lot of damn soy. It says, recalls Dr. Louis about the moment that changed everything. So it goes back to the soy. That's why this dude developed fucking breasts. It says, according to the annual U.S. Consumer Attitude Surveys by the United Soybean Board, 85% of those polled in 2008 rated soy products as healthy, a significant increase from the 59% who in 1997 thought this was the case. Many men, to be sure, are hard pressed to explain why soy is supposed to be so healthy, but they take it on faith that they should embrace the bean. You see, so this thing is pushed. That soy. You see what I'm saying? And then you have synthetic meat investor Bill Gates. Synthetic meat investor Bill Gates calls for rich countries to shift entirely to synthetic meat. And what is that synthetic meat? What's going to be in it? Soy. See what I'm saying? Bill Gates, this is the article. It tells you Bill Gates is the biggest farmland owner. The real reason why Bill Gates is now the biggest farmland owner. You see? So it's all out there. All the truth is all out there. This is Mark chapter 3 and verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. You see? So that's what's happening right now actively. But the Esau, he's not using physical means to go in your house and or lock you up and to steal things from you. You see what I'm saying? He's doing this through the pollution and chemicals that he's putting in food and drinks. That's weakening you, so you can just go for anything. And he's mainly trying to do this to Israelites, because if you go here, scriptures speak about the manliness of the Israelites. This is manliness. First Maccabees 4:35, it says, now when Lysias saw that his army would put to flight in the manliness of Judah's soldiers and how they were ready either to live or die valiantly, he went into Antiochia and gathered together a company of strangers, and having made his army greater than it was, he purposed to come again into Judah. So that, look, these heathens heard of the manliness of Israel, right? Manliness is likened unto, not caring whether you live or die, to fight for what you have. And right now we're fighting through the spirit, and this has always been the case for Israel. When the Lord raised up our manly spirit, we fought. But in this time, our manliness is shown through standing for this testimony of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Now, you can say a dude that wants to pick up arms and use it against an oppressive government can be manly to an extent, but that's really carnality. The true manliness is in your mentality. You know, and these devils, they're canceling that actively. Because like this article says men in name only. So these people are fucked up. These men out here are fucked up. They're low T soy boys, and you could thank the devil Esau Edom for that, because this is an oppressive society. Overall view, the way you could look at it is this is oppressive society that degrades men. You see what I'm saying? So all praises goes to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Shalom.